Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, subscribe, folks. Comment, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen, folks, there's a link tree down below. Has links to all of my social media platforms. Please go down there, follow me across all my social media platforms, and talk to me because I'll talk back. Also down there as well as links to all of my YouTube pages. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages, and turn on your notifications so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Now, with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about Zach Wilson. All right, Zach Wilson has something to say. Okay, Zach Wilson had something to say to the media. He's telling people, listen, if the Jets bring in a vet, he better be ready because I'm going to make his life hell every day in practice. That's what Zach had to say. So, listen, as we know, okay, it's closeout time. Guys are clearing out their lockers at the facility, and they're speaking to the media. As our season's over. We had a chance at the playoffs. It was right there, but it slipped out of our hands, and it's said and done. So now guys are clearing out their locker rooms. They're speaking to the media on their way out. And this is the first time I believe that Zach Wilson has spoken to the media since he's been benched for the second time. And a reporter came directly to him and they asked him, they said, hey, if the Jets bring in a veteran quarterback to compete with you and possibly start over you, would you be okay with that? Again, the New York Jets have been committed to him, to keeping him on the roster, especially next year, and continuing to work with him through hell or high water. That's what Sulla said. That came directly out of his mouth. We're going to continue to work with Zach Wilson, and we're going to coach him, and we're going to do our best to make him better through hell or high water. All right? So when Zach Wilson was asked about a veteran quarterback competing with him to possibly take his spot, start over him, he said, listen, if the New York Jets bring in a veteran to compete with me, possibly take my spot, this is a direct quote, he's going to make that dude's life hell every single day in practice. Listen, it is what it is. Zach went on to say that he's a competitor. And clearly, he's a guy that wants to compete, and he's going to do every single thing that he can do to show the coaches that he deserves to be out there on the field. All right? Now, listen, this is a good sign because, again, there's been a lot of turmoil with Zach. We've talked about his issues with his own confidence. He's come out and talked about, lacking confidence on the field. Sulla has talked about him needing to string some wins together or, get some building blocks to build his confidence and continue to pull and push forward as a quarterback in this league. And this shows that Zach Wilson is committed to the New York Jets, and he wants to continue to do whatever he can do to propel and push the Jets forward in any way that he can. And that's good. That's good. It shows that the guy wants to be here. We all know as Jets fans, listen, New York can crush you. Okay? New York will run you out of town very fast, and his play's been very up and down, okay? And he could have easily have been like, listen, if they bring it in, okay, cool, I'll just compete and see what happens. And he came out and said, no, I'm going to fight. I'm going to make that dude's life hell every single day. I'm going to go out there and push and do what I need to do. And that's good. That shows that Zach Wilson is committed to the Jets just as much as the Jets are committed to Zach Wilson and coaching him, going forward into next season. So that's a good sign. I'm excited to see what happens going forward with Zach Wilson. I know he's been bad up until this point. Believe me, we've talked about that ad nauseum here, especially after the reset and all that stuff. Then he came back and he wasn't good after that. Then he ended up getting benched the second time. But they have a plan with him. They're going to continue to work with him. Even today, Sulla came out when speaking to the media as well, because he spoke to the media too. And he talked about looking for a senior assistant to help with the New York Jets, a senior offensive assistant. Mainly kind of help with the quarterbacks in that situation. Again, we all know Greg Knapp passed away. Rest in peace to Coach Knapp. But once he passed away, there wasn't kind of a replacement for him. And so Sulla came out and talked about not wanting to replace him because he didn't want too many voices in that quarterback room. Kind of looking back on it, that might have been a mistake. Might have been a mistake for Zach Wilson. So we'll see what happens going forward with the Jets. We'll see what happens going forward with Zach. But I'll tell you what, Mike White came out today and spoke to the media too. Here's a guy that really uplifted the New York Jets at quarterback, especially with Zach Wilson playing as bad as he did earlier in the season. And Mike White really reinvigorated the Jets offense and had the team just absolutely excited about him. The guys love him. And speaking to the media today, he said, hey, I love being here. I love being a New York Jet. But, again, Mike White is an unrestricted free agent. And he says he wants to stay a Jet. That's what he said. He said, hey, I want to stay a Jet. I want to be here. I love the team, love the facility, love the guys, love everything about it. But he understands that the NFL is constantly changing. It's a fluid situation. Things move fast, fast, fast in this league. So if, he doesn't happen to, be able to come back with the Jets, if they can't work things out, he believes that he can go elsewhere and replicate the success that he's had here with the New York Jets. So that was big. And again, Mike White, I think, should absolutely be part of the Jet solution here at quarterback. And I don't understand why people all of a sudden are, kind of out on Mike White, or people don't feel like he's a guy that we can move forward with. Maybe it's because he's not highly touted and doesn't have a big name. It wasn't drafted high in the first round for us, but he's a guy that gets it done. He gets it done, okay? The name may not be big. Mike White may not be, the big household name that everybody wants him to be, but he came out this year and absolutely uplifted the New York Jets offensive quarterback. He had 1,192 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks. We saw him go out there and really help this offense get better this year. And again, he suffered an injury against Buffalo that really, curtailed his play, especially as you continue to see it on a Seahawks game. He was still dealing with that rib injury. But Mike White, by far, is the best quarterback that we've seen in this offense out of everybody we've had, including Zach Wilson within this offense. So Mike White should be in the talks, to continue to be here with the New York Jets, I believe, next season. Now, the Jets do have, again, other options at quarterbacks. There's a lot of rumors swirling, and we'll continue to talk about that as the offseason comes. But let me tell you something. There's options out there. The 2 names that everybody's bringing up immediately, Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers. I love those guys. I think they're phenomenal, but I think it's a pipe dream. I don't think they come here. I feel like we're going through the same situation that we did with Deshaun Watson, and I'm not interested in going back there. I remember everybody was saying Deshaun Watson is going to be a Jet. You can book it. It's said and done. We're just waiting for him to sign on the dotted line. This was before all the stuff off the field came into play. And we all saw how all of that played out. He didn't end up being a New York Jet. I think the more realistic options for the Jets at quarterback, kind of bring some veteran guys in, is either Carr, that played for the Raiders, or Garoppolo, or again, bringing back Mike White. That's what I think is going to happen. But I tell you what, we all know Zach Wilson's going to be here. He's going to be in a quarterback competition for sure next season. He's not going to be handed the position. He's going to have to go out there and compete with other guys to win that starting spot back. And the way it's looking, let me tell you something. If they return Mike White, there is very little doubt in my mind that Mike White was probably going to end up being the New York Jets starting quarterback next year. Just the way he handles the offense and looks. He has an unbelievable command of the offense. Very quick mentally, can decipher things very fast out there, and he makes things happen. It's just sometimes his body is a little bit behind his mind. And he's talked about that as well, as far as mechanically just being able to get the throws, because he's thinking faster than he's moving. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm thinking about the New York Jets quarterback situation. So comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. How do you folks feel about Zach Wilson saying what he said about, giving that veteran quarterback, hell every single day in practice? What are your thoughts about Mike White? Do you think the Jets will bring him back? What are your thoughts about the other options for the New York Jets at quarterback? Do you think that Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson are realistic options? Comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. You folks have a good one. Peace.